Welcome to Hen and Chick Studio. We're here today to show you how to make a pillowcase. It's a great gift to make, whether it's for a holiday. They are great for boys, girls, men, women, everybody. So stay tuned and see how easy it is.
Let's get going with our tutorial.
Okay.
So we start with our fabric selection. You can have 2 or 3 fabrics, or you could just use however many. If you wanted to be more creative and piece it together, you could do that. We chose to go with 3 for ours.
Let's iron the band real quick.
Okay, so this is trimmed down to a 2-inch strip of fabric all the way across. So Kelly's going to show you what you need to do with that.
So you don't have to do this piece, we want to stress. If this is just a little intimidating, if this is a first-time project or such, just don't do this piece, and that's totally fine. So we're going to take our 2-inch strip, simply just fold it in half. And we're going to press the whole strip in half. And that's what we're going to do. So make your strip, press it in half.
So while Kelly's working on that, showing it that way, I was going to show you what she's doing. She's actually making this little piece right here, in case you were wondering. Kelly has now got her strips folded and pressed.
Pressed in half.
And I have taken the width of the fabric, or the length of the fabric that would be cut, and cut it down to 26.5 inches. If you purchase one of these kits, it comes as 3/4 of a yard. If you're wanting to purchase something, we suggest 3/4 of a yard, so you have the ability to trim it down and make sure you get it. If you're using your stash at home, that's about the yardage you want to be looking for as well. So I have trimmed it down to 26.5 inches, and now I'm going to bring the fold towards me, keeping the salvage edges together. So now I have a nice fold on this side. And bring it up like this just so you can see what we're going to do, because a trick that you can do to also save time is to cut multiple layers at once.
Oh, yeah, totally. You could have 3-4 of these going out at the same time, cross your kitchen counter, press all of them, fold all of them, and just run on down the line with the ruler. So I'm going to fold this in half again, and I'm going to match my folded edges up.
So Kelly, you're matching your folded edge to the fold on the side, right?
Yes, all of this is edged. We want all of our selvages to the right. And then you can still cut the cute little band at the same time too. Folded edges all matched up, selvage edges all matched up. Make sure everything's nice and smooth.
Okay, and then we're going to come back in, and we need the length of this now to be 41 inches. So I'm going to take my ruler and I'm going to line it up and get it nice and straight, getting that fold right with the bottom straight length, so it's going to give me that straight cut as I go. And now I'm going to cut it down so that the total that I have here is 41. And you see we're cutting through multiple layers at a time to get us ready for our next step.
All done, all cut.
Ta-da!
So we wanted to take a minute and show you how we had this laid out when we cut it and opened it. So if you had any questions on the assembly. Okay, we pulled our ruler up, and when you pull this up, you're going to have your banded fabric, your piping or accent fabric, and the main case. All like this. So at this point, all the fabric is 26 by 40.
26.5 by 41. So an easy way to do it, if Kelly, when it was opened up, is just to open it up across like that. Okay.
Just open the back up. All right, so we're gonna take our band and we're gonna lay this fabric out flat.
And let me see, Kelly, if we can get that in there a little bit better. It's longer than we can get in the video, but hopefully you can see what we're doing here.
Okay, so lay this fabric out flat as long as you can. Then you're gonna take your accent band and I want you to lay it right up to the cut edge there. Okay, now this is gonna get a little, open your case up, and we're gonna lay that up right to our edges.
So right now you're playing hide and seek.
Exactly. Okay. I'm gonna go slow because this is kind of a confusing part. You ever made a jelly roll cake? That's what we're gonna do here. Okay, so we're just gonna kind of roll this in and keep rolling. And look, there's our casing fabric and it's right sides up. Don't get confused at this point. Okay.
I'm just gonna, Kelly,
Yep.
give a little press, a finger press down so that you get a little flatter.
And we're gonna take this and we're just gonna sandwich it up. And we're gonna pin all across this line right here. So here we are at the sewing machine, and just a close up, this is our little sandwiching. All right, we're gonna use a 1/4 inch seam.
And Kelly, we've talked about it before as you start sewing there. It is important that to remember you need to keep your seam consistent as you're going through.
Yes, you do. A great thing to use for that is a 1/4 inch piecing foot if you feel a little uneasy, or sometimes when I don't have my contacts or my glasses, I can just keep going because I have that guide.
Okay, this is the coolest part, guys. You're right now wondering how in the world can this become a pillowcase? Oh, it is so cool.
Pretty neat.
It's so neat. It has been referred to as the hot dog or
Yep.
jelly roll or roll up or a whole bunch of different things like that. But here's the cool part. Are you ready?
What?
Should we go?
Here it comes.
We're literally just gonna pull our pillowcase that we just sewed together. See how I'm doing that? If you've ever done any tube sewing, like to make little ties, that's all we're doing right here. And we're pulling it through.
Remember when I said there was no seams shown, no raw edge,
And I'm getting it through almost to the end.
and it doesn't pull hard at all. Don't
Nope.
think that you have to get, a safety pin and do like the elastic waistband by
Oh
any
no,
means.
I just used my hand. Okay,
Look.
look. Isn't that cool? We haven't pressed it or anything yet, but now we're starting to do it. And I'm gonna back up so you can see this is what I'm left with here. So now you can start to see the pillowcase.
So now we're just gonna give it a good quick press so we have some crisp seams, and we'll be right back.
Okay, so now we're just giving it a nice, getting those seams out. Kelly, as you're doing this, I'm trying to get the iron on. I know it's not a very pretty picture, but we want people to understand why is it important to be doing this?
Well, if you do not take your time to press your fabric as you are going, you will end up with all sorts of puckers and uneven seams that do not
All right,
match.
Kelly's back over here at the sewing machine now, and she's getting ready for her next step.
All right, first let's look, this is gonna look kind of crazy, but my finished sides, all right sides are out, okay? Pillowcase looks like it does when it is finished. Right now we're going to take and match our raw edges together. And I'm gonna take a 1/4 inch seam again, and I'm gonna sew right down this side.
Now, Kelly, why do you have that pin right there?
Well, because look, I have how many seams together? And I'd hate for something to slip and have a big pucker and things not line up. If we went to all the work to iron it, why would we not line our seams up, Jamie?
I don't know. She's brought it off the sewing machine, and Kelly, if you step back for a second now, ta-da, that almost looks like the finished product, doesn't it?
It does. So I have sewn the long edge with the raw edge and the short edge.
So right now your raw edges are still exposed, okay?
Here comes some magic, and you're gonna think I'm crazy at this point. I want you to turn it inside out. So I'm gonna take my corners, remember, that's why I wanted crisp corners. I am going to turn it completely inside out, and I am going to, just like a finished garment, get my points on my corners out, and I'm going to press again and give a good press to all my seams, and I'll be right back.
So while Kelly's pressing that, what we're doing now is the French seam portion of this, so that you have no raw edges exposed. If you haven't experienced that before, we know we're giving you a lot of details on each step. It is very, very simple, really. You could whip these out very fast, but she's giving it a good press. So as she goes back and finishes it with that French seam now, It's already laying nicely for her as she puts it through her machine.
All right, I'm at the machine and I am starting on the long seam. I take a couple in and I am gonna backstitch this a little bit. And all I'm gonna do is take a healthy 1/4 inch seam allowance, the whole length of the long and short side of the pillowcase, just like I did just a minute ago. Right. Here
So,
comes the finale, guys.
It looks like it's wrong, but it isn't. It is right.
So grab your points again. And look, we have finished edges, just like at the factory. Look at that.
Okay, that's on the, but now, Kelly, will you show them the inside, how it shows there's no raw?
There's no raw edge at all.
All right, guys, well, we have the finished products ready to show you. So we have the Hawkeye and the Cyclone finished pillowcases. But Kelly, we've talked about this before, but we do have the measurements and instructions for the travel size pillowcase as well. So we're gonna have that on our website, and you should be able to find that link to that here if you're watching this video too. And then we'll have some kits available with the Cyclones and the Hawkeyes ready for your easy Christmas project. So we hope you enjoy our tutorial. Let us know if you'd like to see more.
Come back.